Start the August 17th meeting. Pledge of Allegiance will be by Commissioner Firstner. Then we'll have a roll call, and I'll start off with the invocation. Please stand. Our Father, we come to you tonight asking for your guidance and looking over us as we go about our city business for the city. We also ask you at this time to watch over the first responders that we have out every day working with this COVID, and pray for them that their safety will be taken care of. We also ask that you look over the people going through this process in Afghanistan and the people that are needing to get out or be brought home, that they will be safe and our soldiers will be safe. As we ask in your Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Brunson?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson? Here. Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Firstner?
Here.
Commissioner Oliver?
Here.
Auditor Selection Committee, Finance Director Roberts.
Good evening. My name is Tala Al-Saeed. I'm the finance manager for the city. I'll be doing the brief presentation on the Auditor Selection Committee. So changes to the Florida statute now require establishing an Auditor Selection Committee in order to select qualified firm for the financial audit services. City's contract with current audit firm will expire after the end of current fiscal year audit. Therefore, a selection committee is required to be established for selecting qualified firm for the future year's financial audit services. Section 218.391 Florida statutes, the auditor selection law, establishes a required procedure for the selection of the auditor to perform financial audit. This is strictly for financial audit only. The established audit selection procedures require a request for proposal for the solicitation of the necessary audit services, and selection and negotiation process in which fees cannot be solely or predominant reason for selecting a particular firm. The audit selection law required that a governing body establish an audit selection committee. The primary purpose of the selection committee is to assist the governing body in selecting an auditor to conduct the financial audit. The audit selection committee for a municipality must consist of at least 3 members, one of which must be a member of the governing body and who must serve as a committee chair. No employee may serve as a member of the audit selection committee. However, an employee may serve in an advisory capacity. Government Finance Officer Association, GFOA, best practices suggest that an actual audit committee member must be composed of governing body or subset of governing body. Therefore, we suggest that entire commission make up the audit selection committee with personnel from finance serve as an advisory members. Commission should consider establishing the committee tonight. The responsibilities for the committee includes establishing the factor to be used for evaluating of audit services to be provided by an audit firm, public announcement of an RFP, provision of interested firm with the RFP, evaluation of proposal provided by qualified firm, ranking and recommendation in order of preference of no fewer than 3 firms to be most highly qualified for the required services. Purchasing will provide the draft and manage the procurement process. Meeting timeline for the proposed Audit Selection Committee. The first meeting will be a workshop to review the RFPs, which will be provided prior to the meetings. During the meetings, RFPs will be reviewed, and upon completion of the meetings, purchasing will compile the RFPs and submit for biddings early January after the holidays. Once the reviews of the proposal received from the qualified firms, second meeting will be held to review the proposal and shortlist the qualified firm for interviews tentatively in February or early March 2020. Shortly after the third meeting will be held to interview the shortlisted firm and rank and recommend the three most highly qualified firm in order of preference for the governing body. However, the interview is not required, so if selection committee decide to review the proposal and rank the most three highly qualified firm without reviewing the interviews, that can be done. In that case, the third meeting is not going to be required. Also, the committee can re-interview all the proposal that received from the bidding and do the shortlisting and recommendation on the second meeting as well. In that case, also third meeting will be required. And that's conclude the audit selection committee meetings
Can you
presentation.
go back to the first slide where it said who's on it?
Sure.
So
This one?
how many? One. All right, so we can name other people in the city besides just one from up here?
Yes.
All right, anybody got comments?
Well, it's got to consist of three people, and three, are they three from the commission? Am I confused, or is it one from the commission and could be two citizens?
One
Could
from the
be-
commission and could be two outsiders.
Two-
Or entire commission could be consist of the committee as well,
How many
which is
total?
recommended by the
How many
GFO.
total can be on it?
Three.
Three?
You can have to do up to five, and
Up
it's,
five.
yeah.
Up to five.
Well,
So we could either appoint ourselves or appoint someone,
you,
we each could appoint.
consensus, anybody want to do, all of us do it for the, we're going to be the one voting on it anyway, so. Is that, how does that work? Is that?
When do we form the committee?
It's informal, so you can, you don't have to do a resolution.
When would we have to have the committee formed?
We're possibly tonight, so we are with all the commissioners.
Okay, so you're looking tonight for us to decide whether it's going to be the five commissioners?
Yes.
Or they're going to select
Or
one
commissioner,
commissioner
yeah.
and two from the finance department, or two from?
Yeah, we cannot have any employees
No, from
be
the
part of the
okay.
committee.
So two from the public and one commissioner, some combination of that?
Yes.
Maybe it's five.
Says five.
Between three, it's only three. 3 to 5?
Yes, 3 to 5. 3 is
Okay.
the minimum.
All right. Well, let me, other than what you had on the screen, do you have a hard copy of this where I can see? Because I mean, you went through that.
All right,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna,
Commissioner Forster said all five, so we'll get a consensus.
All of us?
All five
Form the committee.
on the committee.
Good.
Make
Yeah,
it easy.
Consensus.
I'm good.
okay, I still would like to see a hard copy of this, or send it to me in email
Yes.
or something.
All right.
I can email it to you.
All right, we're gonna do all five, that's consensus. Do we need to vote on it? No?
Nope, you're good.
Nope. All right,
Thank you.
consensus is all five mayor and commissioners. All righty? Thank you. Staff reports.
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
All right, public comments, we have none for us, anything that's dealing with the agenda, so we will do these other ones at the very end of the meeting. All right, consent agenda.
I make a motion to, I'll just hold it one second. Go back over, I know I read them all.
Motion made,
Made, motion to approve.
motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Oliver. Any more comments? No more comments, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. Down the bills. Hang on. What's the next one? 14.
14.
All right, public hearing. Public hearing to adopt the annual code enforcement abatement assessment resolution and to certify the fiscal year 2022 non-ad valorem assessment tax roll for abatement cost recovery. Support Service Director Butler.
Yes, sir. 4 years ago, you adopted an ordinance that allows you to collect recovery of the cost of abatement. Abatements are where we have to go mow a yard or clean up or board up an abandoned building, something of that type. And this puts a lien on the property if they don't pay within 30 days. So we have a mechanism where we can add that to the property tax bill. And we originally had 10 properties that we notified of that. And once they got those notices, 2 came in and paid. So we're now down to just 8 properties. It's about $7,500 that we would collect through this mechanism. And this would be on the non-ad valorem tax roll.
That it?
That's it.
All right. Anybody up here want to discuss it before I open the public?
This will be the 3rd year we've done this.
All right, I'm gonna open the public hearing. Anybody in the public want any comments on the adapting the code enforcement abatement assessment? No comments from the public? I'll close it and bring it back to the dais. Anybody at the dais want to have anything to say? Not? I need a motion.
I make the motion that we approve this item here, public hearing for adoption of the annual code enforcement abatement.
Motion made by Commissioner Oliver for item 14, public hearing. Who seconded?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. No more comments? Let's vote.
It's okay.
Not working.
Is it not working? Am I not working? Okay.
It's a slow machine.
Thank you.
Motion carries
Yeah,
unanimously.
I just want to let you know.
Item 15, public hearing to enter into an agreement with GGS for a soccer program. Advertised. Parks and Recreation Director Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager. In 2018, we were directed to meet with GGS, Global Golden Globe Sports, and discuss bringing them in with a partnership on a soccer program, academy type thing. We were negotiating, waiting for them to come with their end of the money, and then COVID hit last year, so it's kind of been on the back burner for the last year and a half, really. We came to an agreement, and we worked it out, and it's going to, it'll benefit the city. They do scholarship a lot of the kids in the city out there. They have a tremendous program, and it'll improve our complex. We got some funds aside to make the turf a little better, add some bathrooms, that kind of stuff, et cetera, and extend the complex to the north one field. Take questions now.
Is this the money? Tell us the money they're paying.
They're going to come to the table through the 10 years with $300,000. They'll pay $150 up front, then they'll pay $150 after year 5, before year 6.
Okay, all right.
And then we're bringing $200,000. We've already budgeted $150 of that, so you'll see in the current budget now there should be $50 in that current budget for fiscal year 21-22.
Okay.
Is this the same organization that's been operating there before?
Yep.
They're just renewing the contract? It's like a renewal of the contract?
We've been kind of working with them. They've been helping us run our youth program, and they will continue to do so. So this is just trying to get some improvements out there and, get a signed agreement.
Okay.
That's good to get the money. All right. Any more comments? I'm going to open to the public. Anybody in the public have any comments on this issue? All right, I'm going to close the public, bring it back up to the dais. Any more commissioners have any comments? If not, I'll take a motion.
I make the motion that we approve this agenda item for GGS for the soccer program.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Oliver to approve item 15 for the agreement with GGS. Here's a second.
One second.
Seconded by Commissioner First. Any more comments? Not, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 16, public hearing for right-of-way vacation of North Lakewood Avenue and Clear Corner Ocoee Road for Okoye Development 4 LLC, AKA Okoye Village Center. All right, that's Development Service Director.
Mayor, you'll see, we have requested that this item be canceled. We did receive the last letter from Duke today, but we will be re-advertising this and bringing it to the next
All right.
meeting. We weren't able to get you a staff report and all of that in time. So The last meeting, we continued it to a date certain, so therefore we can just cancel it now and we'll re-advertise and all that.
All right, we'll go ahead and cancel it tonight, then. Thank you. All right, first reading of ordinances, none. Second reading of ordinances, public hearing. Number 17, second reading of ordinance for fountains at Highland Park, PUD substantial amendment for Pruitt Health Skilled Nursing Facility. You're still on.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mike Rimmer, Development Services Director. This is a project that's been on the books for a while. It's located on the north side of Tommen Boulevard, west of McGuire Road, south of the Turnpike. It's adjacent to the project that you know as of Inspiration PUD, where you have the commercial and townhomes being constructed. There was back in early 2000, the property was rezoned to PUD that has a commercial land use. And in the plan unit development, it called for a mixture of offices and retail. It had an out parcel, which is developed as a daycare. And under the original plan unit development, they showed the office setup. This is the out parcel, which is the daycare. You would have Tommen Boulevard in the front. You may have seen the new road that was built by Inspiration PUD. But this plan unit development called Fountains at Highland Park never fully developed. In order to do phase one, the out parcel, which is a daycare, they developed the master stormwater pond, and that's been it to date. Within the plan unit development, you could do C3 uses. And the way we process plan unit developments with Ocoee, we don't go with just a bubble plan. We have them depicted as part of the public hearing. So what we're amending is this plan to show what's actually going to go out there today. It's going to be a proposed skilled nursing, which is allowed under the C3 zoning. It's a proposed 95,000 square foot, 120 bed facility, all one story. Sort of the changes from the previous PUD is you had a mixture of office buildings, retail. This plan unit development received a waiver to go up to 50 feet, and you had the pond in the center, the access point down here. Under the new proposal, Pruitt Health, doing this skilled nursing facility, would build out the entire site. The rest of the plan unit development will be done. It'll all be one story. The retention pond will shift because of the way this building is oriented. And so an allowable use within the PUD, but it's going to have a different look than what was originally proposed and broadcasted to the public under the public hearing. What will follow this will be the large-scale preliminary and final site plan that'll come back to the commission. And so we have a skilled nursing facility, a little bit different than assisted living. They have 24-hour care. Representatives are here to describe the company that's locating this facility in Ocoee and can provide more. This is a good depiction of how it will look and set up in the area. And we are recommending approval. So it's a substantial amendment because it's changing what the PUD land use plan that we provided to you all, this commission back in the early 2000. But it's allowable use, and this will facilitate the rest of that development. I'll entertain any questions.
All right. You got to read?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so this is the rezoning ordinance, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Ocoee PUD planned unit development to Ocoee PUD planned unit development on certain real property containing approximately 10.73 acres, located south of and adjacent to the Florida Turnpike, and approximately 1,300 feet west of McGuire Road pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Okay. All right, I'm going to open the public hearing. If the developer is here, want to introduce yourself and talk, feel free. And you want to ask any questions? Anybody else in the public? Feel free to, if you want to ask questions, just raise your hand and we'll bring you up. All right.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Gregory Lee with the law firm of Baker and Hostetler. I'm here representing Pruitt Health, the applicant and the developer for the project this evening. We agree with staff's comments, appreciate your city's professional staff and all the help and work that they've done on this project. I am here tonight with Randall Loggins and Tyler Arnold of Pruitt Health, as well as our project engineer, Autumn Hubsch from Connolly and Wicker, my associate Brandon Marcus from Baker and Hostetler. We'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about the project. Pruitt Health is a 50-year-old family business based out of Georgia, operates first-class skilled nursing facilities, and they are increasing their presence in Florida and excited to come here and develop this project and be part of the community.
All right. Commissioners? Well, first of all, anybody else want anything to say? Nope. You're going to have to fill a form out and come up to the podium. You can fill the form out after you. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Kevin Davis, Ocoee resident. Question, most of Ocoee is a medical desert. With the establishment of your business, how will you address that fact in terms of outreach to the community, to those persons who will not be residents here, but who live in the area, who could be well served by services that you have here? How will you address hiring companies that will go into the community and address the fact that Ocoee, most of it, is a medical desert?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your question. You know, the nature of this facility is a skilled nursing facility, you know, for residents and for people who are living there. I certainly think that the Pruitt Health would want to, you know, become part of the community and coordinate with the community in terms of, you know, hiring people to work there. But I don't know that this is going to be the kind of medical facility that, you know, would take clients that are residents.
Okay. Did you hear it? Okay. All right. Commissioners? I'm going to close the public hearing and bring it back up to the dais. Anybody up here want to say anything?
I just got just a question. How many staff members does it take to actually man or to maintain that particular facility or facility?
Thank you for the question. So with a 120-bed facility, Pruitt Health would anticipate between 175 and 200 staff members. They wouldn't all be there at the same time, but that's how many staff members that they would normally employ for a facility like this to service 120 beds.
With your 120 staff members, are you bringing your own staff here to staff that facility, or are you hiring local skilled employees to man your facility?
We would be hiring from the area.
You'll be hiring local?
Hiring from the area, yeah.
Okay. What is the average income of, or the wage that you would pay for a facility like this?
So within the facility, and thanks for the question, we have a wide range of skill set from CNAs to nurse assistants to registered nurses to executive directors. So it ranges from $15 an hour to, you know, $120,000 a year.
All right. So do you actually advertise this locally through some of our staffing companies or HR type companies, those type of jobs here in Ocoee?
Absolutely. I mean, the model really works to ingrain with the existing infrastructure here. Hospital is less than a mile down the street, an assisted living facility is less than a quarter mile down the road, and the objective is to really coordinate the continuum of care across the entire healthcare spectrum.
Well, hopefully we'll start looking at some of the Ocoee residents that may be looking for some of these skilled jobs. We can kind of look at them first.
Absolutely. I mean, it's certainly a grassroots marketing effort.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
Yeah. Is it going to be a public or a private lift station? Has that been decided?
Thank you. The development agreement from the early 2000s required a public lift station. You had all of these different office buildings and multiple users there. Under this present scenario, the utility department and Pruitt are looking at it. The utility department would accept a private lift station that can support the 2 users. And if that option is there in the engineering process, we'll bring that back and amend the development agreement. So right now, it's not settled, but they have an agreement, it could be either or.
Either.
And we'll bring that back as part of the next process and tell you what that's going to be.
Okay, thank you.
And Commissioner, just the inspiration next door really helped beef up the line. So this is not going to have the same, with the lower retails and office use, it's not going to have the same use. So that's why they've worked that
It would
out.
support the nursing home and what, the daycare?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
When would they start the vertical build? Just one last question. When would you start your vertical build out of this project?
We would work our best to get them through the preliminary final process as we normally do. That would be about, and I don't know if they started on the engineering. Did you already finish?
Q1 2022, projected timeline. We're mandated by state guidelines to have footers in the ground, so we're moving along as fast as we can.
Okay, so we're looking sometime in the fall of next year?
For completion,
For completion, yes.
it's about a 14-month construction schedule, so early 2023.
All right. All right, I'd already closed the public hearing, so anybody else, if not, I need a motion.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the substantial amendment to the PUD.
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Forster, seconded by Commissioner Wilson. Any more comments? No more comments, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. Welcome aboard. Item 18, second reading of ordinance for Potter property at 1081 North Lakewood Avenue. Annexation rezoning, he'll be reading he'll be reading the annexation and the rezoning. Or you will, after she discusses it, or you gonna read it?
I'm gonna read them
You're gonna go ahead
first.
and do it, okay.
Okay, so the annexation ordinance is an ordinance of the city of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the city of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately 0.37 acres located on the east side of North Lakewood Avenue and approximately 1,165 feet south of Works Road, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, and providing for an effective date. And the rezoning ordinance is an ordinance of the city of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R2 residential district to city of Ocoee R1 single-family dwelling on certain real property containing approximately 0.37 acres located on the east side of North Lakewood Avenue and approximately 1,165 feet south of Worst Road, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Did you read the annexation? Yeah, I read them all. You read both of them? All right, we're going to open it to the public. Anybody want to make comments on the ordinance for Potter property?
We're going to do the staff report. Let's do staff.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she said we were going to go ahead and let you do that. Go ahead. Last time you skipped it. Go ahead.
That's all right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Commission. Like Mr. Scott said, this is 1081 North Lake Avenue, the Potter property. It's located on the east side of North Lakewood Avenue, about 1,000 feet from Worst Road. It's approximately 37.37 acres. It has an R2 zoning with low-density residential land use in the county. The property is currently developed with one house, and it's eligible for annexation because it's contiguous to the city, it's within the JPA, and it can be served with urban services. This map shows the surrounding zoning designations. This one shows the surrounding future land use designations. And based on approvals from the DRC and the Planning and Zoning Commission, staff is also recommending that the City Commission approve this annexation of rezoning. That's it.
All right, so now we'll open the public hearing for item 18, second reading of ordinance for Potter property at 1081 North Lakewood. Anybody in the audience have any comments? No comments. We'll close it, bring it back to the dais. Need a motion first for annexation, and then we'll do a second motion for rezoning. Do I have a motion?
Fine. Go, go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll make that motion for annexation for the Potter property.
Motion made for annexation. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Now I need a motion for the rezoning.
I'll also make that motion for the rezoning.
Motion made by
Potter
Commissioner
property.
Brinson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that also.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. Any more comments? No comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, thank you. Item 19, second reading of the ordinance for Garcia, Aurora property at 107 13th Avenue, annexation and rezoning.
All right, the annexation ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately .29 acres located on the north side of 13th Avenue, approximately 172 feet east of North Lakewood Avenue and 375 feet north of Worst Road, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for an effective date. And the rezoning ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R2 Residential District to City of Ocoee R1 Single-Family Dwelling on certain real property containing approximately .29 acres located on the north side of 13th Avenue, approximately 172 feet east of North Lakewood Avenue and 375 feet north of Worst Road pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. This is an annexation rezoning for the 107 13th Avenue, Garcia Arroyo property. It's located on the north side of 13th Avenue, about 170 feet east of North Lakewood Avenue. It's just under .3 acres. It also has an R2 zoning and a low-density residential land use from Orange County. It's developed with a single-family home. Like the other, it's eligible for annexation because it is contiguous to the city. It is within the JPA, and it can be served by urban services. This is the site showing the zoning area and the future land use around it. And the DRC and Planning and Zoning Commission had approved it, and staff is also recommending approval.
All right, and we'll open the public hearing for item 19, second reading of ordinance for Garcia Aurora property. I need a motion for annexation, and then we'll do the rezoning. Do I hear a motion for the annexation?
I'll make a motion to annex the 107 13th Avenue property.
Motion made by Commissioner Brinson for annexation. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wilson.
Before we vote, can I ask something about this before we vote on this?
Yeah.
I know, I've received calls before about these annexations, and we've done a lot of annexations over the past few meetings, maybe over the past 3 or 4 meetings. We've done a lot of annexations, and the question I always get is, what makes a property in the city eligible for annexation? I think I know the answer to the question, but if you could maybe answer the question, it's probably for just people that's watching. So we kind of go through these motions, but I'm sure there's folks that want to know what really makes a property that sits right in the middle of our city for annexation. What makes it eligible for annexation?
Okay, I'd be happy to answer that. There is a document called the Orange County City of Ocoee Joint Planning Area Document. It's something that was adopted by this commission or the City Commission The latest one was, I believe, in 2009, either 9 or 19. But it looks at the enclaves in the city limits. Enclaves are defined as properties that are unincorporated Orange County, but it has pockets of county inside of the city limits. And what that JPA does is it sets the framework over time for properties to come into the city so that it can be served with city services such as water, sewer, police, fire, and things like that. Through that agreement, the county and the city had agreed to, when, based on statutory criteria, when those properties are determined to be eligible to come into the city, meaning that coming into the city, the property is contiguous to the city by at least one boundary. Contiguity can also be if the city property is on the other side of the street. It doesn't have to be coterminous, meaning the boundaries don't have to be tied to each other. Or there's city water or at least one city service going to that property. And then annexing that property into the city helps to eliminate the number and the size of the enclaves inside of the city limits.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I'm sure that there's a few people that want to know how that works. Appreciate it as well.
You're welcome. The main purpose of it is to have a better and more efficient distribution of city services and facilities to the residents.
All right.
Very good.
I have a motion for the annexation and a second. Any more comments? Not, let's vote for that. I need a motion for the rezoning.
I'll make a motion for the same property for the rezoning to the city.
Motion made by Commissioner Brinson for the rezoning. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Second by Commissioner Oliver. Any more comments? Not, let's vote. All right. Item 20, second reading of ordinance for Lindsay property at 50248 Adair Street, annexation and rezoning.
All right, annexation ordinance is an ordinance of the city of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the city of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately 0.38 acres located 1,075 feet south of Clarkona Ocoee Road on the southwest corner of the intersection of Adair Street and 4th Avenue, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for an effective date. And the rezoning ordinance is an ordinance of the city of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County A1 Citrus Rural District to City of Ocoee R1 Single Family Dwelling on certain real property containing approximately 0.38 acres located approximately 1,075 feet south of Clarkona Ocoee Road at the southwest intersection of Adair Street and 4th Avenue, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
All right, open the public hearing.
You go staff report.
Oh, I keep forgetting her staff report.
Okay, annexation and rezoning case for the property located at 5024 Adair Street, the Lindsay property. It is approximately 1,000 feet south of Clarkona Ocoee Road in the southwest corner of the intersection of Adair and 4th Avenue. It is approximately 4.4 acres. It currently has an A1 zoning classification in the county that is Citrus Rural District with a low-density residential future land use category. The site is also developed with a house on it, and like the others, it's eligible for annexation because of it being contiguous to the county, to the city. It's within the JPA, and it can be served with city utilities. This map shows the surrounding zoning districts. This one shows the surrounding future land use categories. And based on approvals, recommendations of approval from the DRC and the Planning and Zoning Commission, staff is also recommending approval. Thank you.
All right, we're going to open the public hearing for item 20, second reading of ordinance for Lindsay property at 5024, annexation rezoning. No comments from the public. We'll bring it back to the dais. Do I hear any more comments? If not, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the annexation of 5024 Adair Street into the city.
Motion made by Commissioner Brinson for the annexation. Do I hear a second for the rezoning? For the annexation.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Forster. No more comments? All in favor, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. Now I need one for the rezoning.
I also make the motion for rezoning for the same property.
Mr. Brinson made the motion for rezoning. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Forster. No more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. Item 21, second reading of ordinance for Amaran property at 403 Second Street, annexation and rezoning.
Okay, annexation ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately .39 acres located on the east side of Second Street, 187 feet north of East Silver Star Road, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for an effective date. And the rezoning ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R1 Residential District to City of Ocoee R1A Single-Family Dwelling on certain real property containing approximately .39 acres located on the east side of Second Street, 187 feet north of East Silver Star Road, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. I did.
All right, we're going to open the public hearing. Item number 21, second reading of ordinance for Amaran. Huh? Steph. I keep forgetting that. Steph lady. Go ahead. You got to holler.
All right, this is the annexation and rezoning application for 403 Second Street, Amaran property. It's located on the east side of Second Street, about 200 feet north of Silver Star Road, about .39 acres, zoned R1, single-family residential and low-density land use in the county. Property is currently developed with a single-family home, and it's also eligible for annexation because it's contiguous to the city within the JPA and can be provided with urban services. This is a map showing the surrounding zoning, and this is a map showing the surrounding future land use. And with the recommendations of approval from the DRC and the Planning Zoning Commission, staff recommends approval.
All right, open the public comments for second reading of ordinance for Amaran property at 403 Second Street, annexation and rezoning. Anybody in the public have any comments? No comments? Bring it back to the dais. I need a motion for annexation.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson for annexation on item 21. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Oliver. No more comments? Let's vote. Need a motion for rezoning.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Oliver. No more comments? Let's vote. All right, item 22, second reading of ordinance for Martinez Perez property at 128 First Street, annexation and rezoning.
Okay, this is the annexation ordinance. An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately 1.02 acres located on the west side of First Street, approximately 1,124 feet south of East Silver Star Road, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for an effective date. And then the rezoning ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R1 Single Family Dwelling District to City of Ocoee R1 Single Family Dwelling on certain real property containing approximately 1.02 acres located on the west side of First Street, approximately 1,124 feet south of East Silver Star Road, pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, sir. 128 First Street, Martinez Perez property, annexation and rezoning case. It's located on the west side of First Street, about 1,100 feet south of Silver Star Road. It is just a little bit over an acre in size and is zoned R1 and low-density residential land use in the county. It's developed with a single-family home, and the property is eligible for annexation because it's contiguous to the city. It is currently served by city water, and it's also within the JPA. This is a map showing the surrounding zoning districts, showing the surrounding future land use categories. And I will say that this item went to the Planning and Zoning Commission at the July 13th hearing, and during that discussion, the property owner was concerned about being annexed into the city. His concern was about improvements to First. Staff explained that the annexation is consistent with the annexation agreement that was executed with the prior property owner back in 1996. And the agreement runs with the land so that once the city determines that it's ready for annexation, the property will be annexed into the city. In terms of the concern from the property owner about the streets, in order for the city to maintain and improve the street, the property owners along that route, it's actually not a public right-of-way, but along that route would have to be willing to convey via fee simple title sufficient property in order for the city to have sufficient right-of-way to improve that road to city standards. Following that discussion, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval. So with the DRC's recommendation and the P&Z's recommendations of approval, staff is also recommending approval of the annexation and rezoning. Thank you.
Okay. All right, go open the public here for item number 22, second reading of ordinance for Martinez Perez property, 128 First Street, annexation rezoning. Anybody in the public have any comments? No comments. We'll bring it back to the dais. I need a motion for annexation.
Make that motion?
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson for annexation. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Oliver. No more comments, let's vote. All right, so we need a motion for rezoning.
Make that motion?
Commissioner Wilson makes the motion for rezoning. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Oliver. No more comments, let's vote. All righty, thank you very much. All right, we have nothing on the regular agenda. Now we're gonna go to the comments from the citizens. All right, I have James Garber.
Hi, good evening. My name is actually Jacob Garber, and I'm here today to talk about the intersection of Clerical and Ocoee and Ingram Road, which I live very close by. I've addressed the commissioners and the mayor, I think about 2 years ago, and also about 6 months ago regarding the same situation. I do know that you guys have made some progress towards getting traffic lights installed in the area. My main concern is safety. I'm not into politics, nor do I really care about budgets or money or anything like that. And I know it takes money to put up the traffic lights, but unfortunately, I've seen firsthand probably about 4 or 5 accidents in the past 2 years. I don't know if any of them have been fatal, but they're pretty bad accidents where our city services had to come out and deal with it, whether it's ambulance services or police services. So I know it's costing the city money right now because we don't have the lights installed, and there's safety of our residents and the residents in the near areas. But I did make a call this morning saying that I did want to talk, and I did receive some information back, and vaguely, because I didn't get a chance to jot it down while I was at work, but some of the information that I think I was told is that Commissioner Moore came in April to address the situation and say that she did approve on behalf of the county. However, the approval was a joint venture essentially with the county and the city, so the city would have to fit the bill for, I believe, half, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm saying anything incorrect. But my next question, and I think it was to, I can't remember the lady's name, but she was super nice, and I asked her, I said, well, I know there was a budget meeting a couple months back or a couple weeks back. Was that addressed? And she took some time and got back to me and said no, because it was supposed to be handled with the impact fees, right? Which I assume is to meaning that the builders pay in on impact fees. So that's part of that budget that needs to be addressed. So my main thing is, from what she told me, that the impact fees was going to be delegated in a month or two from now. But if we have the money, if the money's in an account, my ask is that we supersede that wait and move it up a little bit, because every day that we wait, there's another opportunity for people to get hurt and possibly die. 2 weeks ago, I woke up driving up Ingram like I normally do to go to work, and there was another accident. It was really bad. So as a concerned citizen about safety, my ask is that we kind of move that up somehow, some way, if at all possible, and put that money towards getting that light installed, because I know once you guys approve it, it's still going to take time to construct. So that's my ask, and hopefully you guys can respond. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'll make a quick comment on that. I do know that we've got the impact fee money, but one of the things we have to look at also is we want to make sure that light gets put in. We've been looking at it for a long time, but as you as also Okoye citizen, you pay county taxes. The county, we pay in, each one of us pay, I know I looked at mine, it was $450 to the Orange County, which I think we need to see if we can work a deal with and get a little more money out of them than what they're trying to save, because each of us here in the city with 17 to 18,000 houses pay a lot of money into the county, which that's what it's for, is to go to those roads and stuff. So we want to try to, we have the money, I think, in the impact fees, but we need to see if we can work on getting them to come down more on what they're supposed to do, giving us some of our money back. So it's their road on their corner that's got to go to that light. And it will take a few months to get that line in, and we do need it there. They come flying around that curve, I guarantee you. Okay, next, we've got 2 or 3 here for that. All right, the next one is Rihanna Rogers. Did I say that right? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, Rihanna Rogers. I'm a resident of Arden Park South. 2 years ago, my daughters and I were involved in an auto accident at that intersection that totaled our vehicle. My daughters were 2 and 3, and so we live a little less than a mile from that. Our backyard backs up to Lake Meadow, so we can hear that intersection. My daughters hear every accident that occurs at that intersection. It changed my career. I was a prominent trial lawyer here in Orange County. I don't practice trial law anymore. I suffered a traumatic brain injury in the accident. It totaled my Tahoe. When a vehicle pulled out in front of me, I did everything I could to miss the collision. I was less than a mile from my house picking my daughters up from daycare, a road that I travel every day. I can't not travel that road now to come home. If there had been a light at that intersection, I know that the accident wouldn't have happened, because there would have been a traffic control device and the guy wouldn't have pulled out in front of me. We need a light at that intersection, especially now that we are going to be getting all of the construction that's going to be happening at Publix. Ocoee doesn't have the type of police manpower that we probably need for the amount of residents that are coming in to conduct speed control coming around that corner. And so leaving my neighborhood every morning to now take my daughters to school, I can't leave the neighborhood without cars coming around that corner 60, 65 miles an hour. And that's at a low ball speed, to be quite honest with you, commissioners. Sometimes I may wait, and obviously I'm very prudent because it totaled my vehicle, every airbag came out. But you know, sometimes I may wait 15, 20 minutes to try and cross Clerico and Ocoee just to be able to make a left-hand turn to go up to the 429. We need a traffic control device there, even between Adair and Clark. it's something to control traffic that's coming through, especially with the amount of people that are coming in. And Mayor Johnson, I understand what you're saying, but if the excuse that we're gonna have in the city of Ocoee is let's let it be Orange County's problem, then the first family member that gets killed, I really feel bad for you if you get served with the lawsuit for the wrongful death suit for the first family that gets killed.
Is that what you heard me say?
I
No,
heard
ma'am.
you say
No, ma'am.
that maybe we should wait.
No, I did not. No, ma'am. I did not say we should wait. I said, here's what the problem is. We all pay county taxes. I've been working to get a light at that place for 2 or 3 years. I did not say wait. I didn't want it to wait. Thank you.
I think that we could let the record wait and reflect for itself what you said. that
I
we
didn't
could
say let it wait. I mean, you can pull up the record when it gets printed. I said we need to look at, Ms. Rogers. I'm not going to argue about it because I think it's something we need. We've needed it for a long time.
I
I
agree
agree.
with you, Mayor Johnson, but I don't think that we need to wait for
We-
Orange County
you
to
can't-
contribute more of the
It
money
won't get
towards
built
it.
next week. That's what I'm trying to say. It takes a while to get built.
I'm not asking for.
No,
it.
okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you. You know, it's get into this stuff when people say stuff. It's not, nobody here wants to see people have accidents. Listen, but that's part of what happens when the government, everybody needs to pay what they're supposed to. And we, like I said to start with, we have the 200, right, city manager? We have the $250,000 there. We have it. Okay. 60, Chris Atkins.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners. I felt the need to come up and address the diocese specifically. Over the last few meetings, there's been some conversations about some stuff. I want to start out by saying that I don't come up here with any personal intent, right? I don't come up here for any other reason except for that I care. Now, during that process, sometimes I can be a little overheated, okay, a little anxious. And I'm gonna refer to Brad here on this because I didn't get a chance to come to the last meeting. I was working late, so I caught the last half, right? Well, Brad called me, he said, Chris, you know something, man? He said, I'm gonna let you know straight up, I lambasted you in the beginning part of that meeting, right? And I didn't take it personal. I'm cool. Sometimes you need that little check, right? In the meeting prior, Brad came out to me in the parking lot and he said, Chris, listen, man, listen. Because you're a little bit hyper and you didn't know exactly what you were talking about. I said, Brad, I was at the meetings. He said, Chris, stop, listen. He said, we went back and we got some more money. I said, Brad, that's all that needed to be said, right? I can't catch every meeting. I don't come up here all the time. You know, I catch what I can, but I try to stay informed. Now I want to transition into why I do what I do, okay? I moved all over. I come from a very broken home. I didn't have a cell phone. 20 years ago, I bought my first home here in Ocoee at the top of the ridge at 23 years old. And I told myself, I'm gonna raise my family here. I'm gonna contribute to my community. And I'm gonna care about my local government. I've been coming to these meetings before mayor was mayor and before a lot of these commissioners were ever here. I remember the day I met Rosemary on her first ground pounding walk, drinking waters at my house, and I voted for her. I volunteered for multiple sports organizations. My wife's been the PTA president at the Ocoee Elementary for more than 5 years. She is no longer, but she held that position for more than 5 years. Mayor, you know I'm passionate. I've been out on the field and umpired your kids' games. You see me working in the
My
community.
grandkids.
You're right. Okay?
You're
So
not that
I
old.
just want to be clear about something. I may not always be perfect, because I'm not. All I expect is a little bit of respect and dignity back, you know? And I can admit when I'm wrong, or I may be misinformed, but I don't want anybody to think for 1 second that I come up here for anything personal. It's because I care about my community. Now, it was a small community when I started, and that's what I loved about it. So maybe my concerns are a little bit different, but everyone is entitled to their own opinion when it comes to that,
That's
right?
Yeah, thank you.
So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Mr. Eckers.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, you'd be too old if you granddid my kids.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thank you. Let's see, we got one, Scott Kennedy. I knew there was one more.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name's Scott Kennedy. It's good to see you again, everyone here. Interesting comments about the traffic. That's the primary reason I'm here. Quick digression. I would encourage you, Commissioners, I know I keep beating this drum, discussion in the comments and at the budget workshop about the bulk trash pickup. I would encourage you to put something on the agenda, especially if you're getting calls from citizens. That seems to be a priority. Let's make the public policy decision if we're gonna take back the bulk, not in the budget meeting. And that's the problem that I've had. As you know, I've been attending the meetings, and I've actually been, as I told you, I would try to map some priorities out, and it's really hard. Surprisingly, not all of you agree on what the priorities are. Who does, right? We've talked about gun safety, child safety, elder safety, public safety, and traffic. I decided to tackle the traffic. Every day I drive McCormick to Ingram, to Clarkona, Ocoee, to Clark, to 80 Mims, to Apopka, Vineland, to Silver Star. It's a zoo. Accidents are caused by distracted driving, improper turns, not maintaining lanes, overtaking in the wrong lane, non-functioning traffic safety devices, signals. Speeding is the #1 source of fatalities, and every single day I see every single one of those. I see people with the third brake light that was mandated by the government not working, stop right in front of me. We talk about what can we do with Orange County, what can we do with Tallahassee, what should you be advocating for? In 1990, after I graduated high school, the Florida government removed mandatory instructor-led driver education from our high schools. In 2000, our government stopped mandatory vehicle inspections. I've spoken to people, I've done research, I've spoken to the police chief. Everyone knows that education and enforcement works. We know how to do it. We're not advocating with our county and our state to fund it. I'm told that there's a driver's education course taught near the auction that every time it opens up, it sells out immediately. Parents want this. We all want this. Insurance companies, everyone will tell you, young drivers are 3 times more likely to have an accident, usually in the first year they're driving. This is something I know we all agree on. Every commissioner, I've watched you in your comments, you're doing the right thing, you're wagging your finger, you're telling people to slow down. But as people come, I've seen a lot of people from Orange County come here, we need to ask them to put driver education, instructor-led driver education back in our schools. Thank you.
Mr. Garber, did you get up already? James?
My name is Jacob, and yes,
Oh, you spoke to start with, I thought. Yes, sir. Oh, okay. I thought I'd lost track of that. I think everyone here, I know the police, we have, I don't know what the count is for police with how many people we have. I don't know if the chief's here or not, but I know we keep.
we're in the low hundreds right now, 100,
Right.
between 100 and 105.
It's been a little tough to hire all of them, but nobody wants to wait on traffic lights. We want the traffic lights. We just got to, after we got the $250,000 that's going to go into the budget, then we can go after the money from the county to see if they'll help do a little more than what they're supposed to do, because it's your tax dollars. It's your tax dollars that you pay them. Yes, sir. You fill out a form when you get through.
Good evening, Commissioner, Mayor. Is Steve Krug here today? I'd like to ask him some questions if he's in, or I'd like to know, I understand this money thing, but have we done all the correct trip studies and all that stuff, and
He's going to see.
know where there's a money thing, but there's other parts to this light that have to happen, right? If we did the traffic study that needs to be done, is all the engineering complete? Where are we on that?
Steve Krug, Public Works Director. Yeah, Orange County has done the design and it's ready to go. The interlocal agreement came back and had some things that we're trying to work out, like us taking over maintenance on their road and paying for a substantial amount that we hadn't planned on. But everything is designed, traffic studies, it's ready to go.
Fill the form out.
So I still got a couple more. Is it a simple issue of money, or are there other factors right now that are keeping us from taking care of this? If we had the cash today, could you put the light in tomorrow?
Not necessarily. They're setting a precedence too of maintenance on this. On a county road, that's a federal aid classified highway. To transfer it over to the city is not the best precedence, because then we'd be responsible for that part.
Good evening, Mayor, Board. Leslie Baker for minutes purposes, Leslay. Vice President of Arden Park, South Subdivision, lifelong resident of Ocoee since 2004. I used to travel Clarkona Road, coming to play golf at Forest Lake, two-lane road, nothing. City is growing. I travel that road daily. My wife travels that road to go to the 429 to go to work. We walked the trail. She witnessed a horrible accident 2 months ago. She called me at work. She's screaming and hollering because she's never seen nothing that violent. We just asking if anything you could do, Mayor, or the board to expedite that light. That's all. We know it's coming. We would like to get it tomorrow, but we all know we can't get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we would like to get the light. That's all. And I won't belabor the point any longer.
No, we want it too, believe me. Thank you. Just remember to fill the form out. I think that's the last, all right. Commissioners, we're going,
Oh, he's,
all right.
I'm sorry, Mayor,
Oh, okay.
this gentleman is going to.
You got two to fill out, two more.
Mayor, City Commissioners, thank you once again. To just reiterate what has already been said, another concerned citizen, Kevin Davis, I live in McCormick Woods. I have witnessed accidents at that intersection, right down the street, at the intersection where the 7-Eleven is at a Popular Vineland. My son actually had a wreck at that intersection. Fortunately, that intersection has a light. But the curve, the high traffic, more subdivisions are being built right in that immediate area. If there's anything that can be done to expedite this process, to move it up on the agenda list of priorities, please, 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 that light is needed at that intersection. Thank you very much.
Steve, can you come back up? Is there any way to move it up?
If we can iron out the details and to where they don't start transferring a lot of other traffic signals, like an example is when they did the Adair Road traffic signal, they determined they needed that one. That benefits City Road at Adair. They never asked us to contribute to the maintenance. The maintenance is theirs. Now they're doing things a little different, or trying to get some new things in, and we just have to make sure it's not a precedent where we said we're spending city dollars for things that the county should be taking care of. They do have a continuing contract to install that they can utilize, similar like our continuing contracts. So it's not a matter of having to bid it out. It can happen pretty expeditiously if we can work out the details that don't set us up for future costs that we don't have planning for.
So you're working on it?
Oh, yes, sir.
What
We have a good
happened with
working
maintenance?
relationship with Public Works and Orange
Yes, sir.
County.
Yeah.
When you mention maintenance of light, what is involved in the maintenance of an actual traffic light?
We have a contract with a traffic signal maintenance contractor. They do a monthly inspection and make make sure everything's up. We actually do a little more than Orange County does. It's not a reactive, it's a proactive process. And we maintain some of the state roads. We actually get paid because the state does not have their own traffic system, maintenance system, so we get paid to do those. On the county, if every time we take one over, it's just coming right out of our general fund, and we have to budget it.
Gotcha. I don't think we want to get too far into the red tape of this thing. I think the most important thing is how do we get this light installed? Again, I know that originally we were told that it would be installed on in the spring of 2021. And then we were told that the equipment, the arms, the mast arms were on back order. And then, and now we got this order that they threw at us, or this agreement that they threw at us in June. So again, I think that the most important thing about this is that we figure out how we get this light done. If we have the money, let's get it done. If we need to figure out what happens on the maintenance on the back end, the most important thing is the lives we save on the front end, that agreement can be worked out on the back end. So I think that we really need to look at being a little more innovative about this particular light because of what's at stake here. And that's the lives of our residents, our children. It's a lot at stake at that particular corner. So I think that we can be a little more innovative about how we go about getting this light installed by the end of the fall of this year.
I agree.
All right.
Public comments still?
Yep. But you fill out another form? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was curious, Mr. Krug, what would be the overall cost or expenditure to the city if we did assume the maintenance for that intersection? Do we have a specific number of what it would cost us from a budget standpoint? I know when we set precedents, we also set a contract, so maybe Mr. Cookson can make it very clear that this may be a one-time acceptance, because we have to agree to each particular section we would want to take on. But have we done the amount of what the maintenance would be on that particular intersection to the taxpayers? It sounds like it may be, I don't know the number, but that would be one that we would want to have. If it's an affordable number, then maybe if that's what's holding us back, we do it. I mean, safety is first, I think.
It's not a substantial cost on an individual light. It varies between $2,500 to $5,000 a year, just to do the maintenance and inspection on something like that.
You get that? Did you get that? All right. We're going to close the public announcements and go to city comments from commissioners. Commissioner Firstner.
Steve, got one for you. Glad you're still here so I didn't have to call you back out. McGuire Road between Windsor Landing and Meadow Ridge on the east side of the street along the sidewalk there really does need to be trimmed back pretty well. It's the bushes and everything, they're hanging over and they're impeding the sidewalk, and it could be dangerous for people walking there, especially at night. If you'll just make a note of that? Okay, thank you. Vaccinations, tomorrow, Wednesday, and again on September 9th. They're going to be giving out vaccinations at Orange County Courthouse on Story Road. They'll be doing that between 9 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. Please, I urge all of you to go out and get vaccinated. It's working, and we're experiencing, a little pushback on the virus now. We need to do everything we can to fight this. Hurricane preparedness, we're about to enter the height of hurricane season. Please, prepare your homes, prepare your families, make sure everyone has a plan, they know what to do. And if you have a kid or anything like that, reassess it and see what you need in addition. School's in session, please drive carefully. And that's all I have.
All right. Commissioner Brinson.
Thank you. I'm going to piggyback off of this because I think it's just so very important for us to run this thing to ground as much as possible, and that is traffic. And I know that a lot of the residents, taxpayers and visitors, travelers have the same issue with traffic controls. specifically traffic lights at intersections. But as the mayor has pointed out, and many others have as well, and we all are discussing this, just as the public is coming here to encourage us to make a move on these, I would also encourage you to go down to the county to do the exact same thing. Getting pressure from all sides will help move this. We can't move the needle just here in Ocoee. We just don't have the dollars and cents to do everything we want to do in Ocoee. But if you know, as the mayor said, everyone here is paying those property taxes, and some of those property taxes are for infrastructure, for first responders, for our schools. And so we have to encourage Orange County to do their part. And it is not easy to do. It can be very frustrating. I know it's frustrating for me. It can even be disheartening, but we can't give it up. We got to continue to fight this battle and beat that horse, because I don't think that horse is quite done yet, and I think we can get some more out of it. Proactivity costs money, and reactivity costs lives. I truly believe that. And because I say that, because when we are proactive, we know that's going to cost us money. But unfortunately, oftentimes what we'll find is we won't do anything until someone loses their life. That's reactivity. So being proactive is a wonderful place to be, but also remember we don't have a bottomless well of money to draw from. But we have to, you know, one of the members of the public came and Mr. Kennedy said, we have to prioritize. And I do believe that this commission as a whole, as a body, has some of the very similar priorities, and I think they're probably listed in the same order. We may present them differently, but I think public safety and elder safety and traffic is high on that list, to include first responders. So we have to continue to fight that battle. But the frustration and disbelief that we see on these roads with people driving, we have to keep telling them to slow down. We have to do our part to do that. I mean, I see it every day, and I travel a lot in my other capacities, and I'm always on these roads, and it's just beyond me that people are driving the way they're driving. So I would encourage everyone, slow down, school is in session, be mindful. If for no other reason, drive like your children are on that road, and hopefully that will do something to change your habits. Next thing I'm going to talk about is something, again, it's a horse that's not too dead to beat, is masks, masks, masks. This COVID-19 Delta variant is real. I've been saying it since we started. I got my COVID-19 shot back in February because I believed that it would do well to get it. And I think it has served me well because I'm in contact with the public and a lot of people all the time. I've lost a dear friend this past Saturday, 36 years old, due to COVID-19. Relatively healthy guy. He got it. You know, he didn't make it. He was on a respirator for 3 weeks, and then he didn't survive. COVID-19 Delta variant is real. I encourage, I implore you, I beg of you, tell your family, your friends, your coworkers, people you see at Publix, at Quadro, wherever, this shot is something that we need to do. Encourage them to do so, because it is very, 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 very important. Orange County Public Schools as well. I know that's one of the challenges we're having, but just as we go down to Orange County to talk to them about traffic issues and other concerns, we need to go down to Orange County Public Schools and do the same thing for our children. As more and more homes come out of the ground and apartments come out of the ground, that means more people are going to be here. We're going to need schools in our districts. And if we don't complain and be the squeaky wheel, we will not move up that list. Talking about moving up the list is very important. And Director Krug, I'm happy you're still here, because you know I'm going to be asking you about an update on Spring Lake Elementary School Trail. I know we're moving that project forward, but if you can give me a public an update as to when that's going to happen.
We put it out, pricing, design and pricing out to our continuing service contractors, and that'll be coming back to the commission at the next meeting for approval. And then we can issue a PO, purchase order, and do the work.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very important. And to the public who know what trail I'm talking about, most people know it as the Pig Trail. Some people know it as Blue Jay Way. but it is something that is dear and dear to my heart because I've cleaned that trail 3 years, and it needs to be redone, and because it really is a public safety nuisance. Social media is a wonderful tool. It allows you to share information back and forth throughout all over the world, literally all over the world. It provides you with a voice for many folks who don't have voice, who may not even be able to get out of their homes and come to these commission meetings. However, the social media is not something that this commission does its business on. So if you want to express yourself to this commission, social media is not the way to do it. I would encourage you to send an email, send a voice, call us on voicemail, or to attend the commission meetings, because we don't, well, we should not be. Some people may, but we should not be conducting our business in social media, because for those who know what we have to, rules and ordinances we have to abide by, and statutes we have to abide by, that can find us on a slippery slope. Let me see here. Thank you for all the members, Mr. Lobeck, Mr. Atkins, Mr. Kennedy, and Mr. Jake back there, Mr. Baker, who all made comments. I enjoy these comments. I enjoy getting pushback because that makes us better as a city. If we do not have that, the way I look at it is if I'm doing a job and I don't hear back from the people I work for, I'm doing an excellent job, and I know that just can't be the case. Someone has got to tell me that I need some rudder adjustments. That's your job. And our job is to make those necessary rudder adjustments when they come to our attention within reason. So thank you again for sharing it. Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Oliver.
I too have to piggyback on Commissioner Brinson's comment about when the citizens come forth to share their concerns and the things that they want to see in the city. Before I get started on what I had, my first item, I need to address something. We've made lots of comments about this light at Ingham Road, and we've looked at it from different perspectives, and we heard the comments. So I thank everyone for the comments concerning the dangers of Ingham Road and Claricone and Ocoee. Just to give you a little backdrop, a little history on this light. 3 years ago, in 2018, I went to the county. I met with the county mayor and the traffic engineers about that light. That was the first thing I did upon being elected to the city commission. I met with them in the mayor's office, specifically about that intersection, which started a warrant study. They did a warrant study over a year. Over that year, they came back and said that light was warranted and it's needed. And from there, we started negotiating, started talking about what needs to happen at that next point there, or the next phase of that project. They went ahead on, they did their surveys or engineering studies, and they did their design studies. They did all those things. And then we had, I had several updates from several citizens. We would text through the years about what's going on. And finally, we put a sign up say something's going to happen. So that gives folks a little hope that we're working, we're doing something to make this happen. And then finally, we have our county commissioner came to this meeting in April and with the traffic engineer, and they gave us a briefing as to what's happening, not only at this corner, but every proposed light in Ocoee in the northern quadrant. And they told us it was ready to go, with the exception of the mast arms being on back order. So I stopped on the corner of 535 shortly after that, where they were putting up the same type of light, 535 and I can't remember the name of the intersection, but they put up the columns and the mast arms was not there. And I stopped and spoke to the foreman, and I asked him about what's going on at that corner, where's the mast arms, and he told me the same thing. We're waiting on these mast arms to come in, and have to paint them and do all the different things that nature. So we were given an impression after the commissioner left that they were going to cover this light. They were going to pay for this light. We have 1 feeder road, Ingham Road, which is about maybe 10 or 20% of the traffic that flows into that main road, that main artery. So then in June, we get this this joint agreement to pay half of this light, which is very discouraging. The problem I have with this is for the fact that they flip-flopped on us with this thing, with this light. That's the first problem I have. The second problem I have is that we had a budget meeting last week, and this agreement has been sitting here since June. This agreement was here in June, and we had a budget meeting last week, and there was not one mention of the cost of $250,000 to be added to our budget or to come from somewhere to take care of this light. That's my second problem that I have. So I've heard a lot of comments about this light tonight, and I'm passionate about the fact that our kids travel this road. We talked about maintenance. We talked about what it's going to cost to cover this $5,000 a year. We talked about the taxes we pay for the county, which is, I agree. I agree with that. I have no problem with that. But I tell you what I will be doing next week. Next Tuesday, I'll be in front of the county commission asking why they flip-flop on us for this light that they led us to believe that they were going to take care of. But until then, I think that it's our responsibility to get this light up. So I've heard a lot of chatter tonight, but I haven't heard any solutions. I haven't heard what is our plan of action. That's one thing I have not heard. So right now, I want to know, what is our plan of action right now as a commission to get this light installed? City manager, can you give us some information on that? I want to know, what can we do? What do you recommend?
I would recommend moving forward and designating the $250,000 from impact fees at the first budget hearing. In the meantime, if we want to discuss this with the county commission, and Commissioner, you bring up some good points. We were led to believe that they were covering the entire cost of this until we got that agreement. But we can go ahead and designate those funds from the impact fees, which doesn't change the city millage rate or anything like that, and lobby them to either do the project under the county's auspices or give us a better deal, because we do not have 50% local traffic going through that intersection. So a couple of different issues there that the Public Works Director brought up. It seems like every time we try to bring something up with them, they come up with some new requirements. And, you know, I can see where they're going. We continually end up paying for half of everything they do. That's their starting point from every new project they do within the city of Ocoee. Even on these county roadways, these arterials and collectors, which they have the right-of-way, they have the roadway, they do the permitting for them. We couldn't go out there and put this light up if we wanted to without their permission. It's their roadway. So we need their buy-in. We need their agreement on these things. And we depend on them when we have a county commissioner and we have the county mayor, county public works staff saying that they're going to do this. And, you know, luckily we do have a funding source if we have to go through and once again pay for half of something that should be the county's responsibility, 100% in my view. So I would do that in the first meeting, designate the funds. October 1st, we could go ahead and execute that agreement. We might want to execute the agreement earlier if it's a reimbursement and we can't get them to lower the price for us. Steve, perhaps you can tell me, is it a reimbursement from us? If we tell them to go ahead, then they can get working on it, and if we're just sending them reimbursement checks at the end, then that's a lot easier to work with.
I'm not sure of the logistics, but I know once we sign the interlocal agreement, it will then go back to the county, which would put it into, if we did it at the next meeting, it would put it into the next budget year either way.
Right.
Real quick, I thought we were all under the understanding anyway, we were gonna put that $250,000 out of the impact fees for them without the budget process last week. Nobody brought it up, but I thought we'd already discussed.
I don't know if it was in the capital or not already, but that's why we have typically at least 3 or 4 meetings to catch all those things and make sure that everybody understands, you know, that those things are in there. But we can continue negotiating with them. We can make sure that money's in there, and it could be a go regardless of if we bargain a better deal with them or not.
I say we need to do what it takes to move forward. If we need to negotiate on the back end, let's negotiate on the back end. But right now, we need to worry about what's happening on the front end right now. And again, that's putting the lives of our citizens ahead of the negotiations. That's whatever we need to do. If we need to send that agreement in next week and handle it at our next workshop, let's do that. Let's move forward with this thing. It seems to be, it's pretty easy for me. It's a pretty easy decision for me to make. And I'm hoping that the rest of this commission will see it the same way, that it's a pretty simple solution to move forward, deal with what we have to deal with on the back end. Because again, right now, I would just hate to wake up, and I've said this time after time after time after time. I don't want to wake up one morning and see some fatality on that corner, because I see it every other day. I don't want to see one of our children laying in the middle of the street because we failed to act. Let's take this serious. Let's do what we have to do to get this light installed. This is serious. This is the lives of our kids that travel this road, going to our high school every day. So please, 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 I implore you, do what it takes to get this light through. I have a lot more on my agenda, but let's just get this light through. I don't care about this other stuff. Let's get it through.
All right, Commissioner Wilson.
Yes. Okay, first of all, hasn't been mentioned tonight, but there's a community meeting regarding Orange Technical College Westside Campus, going to be on the 19th, this Thursday, from 6 to 7 o'clock at the Westside Campus on Story Road. It's regarding the moving of the, well, I'll just call it Westside to out near the Ocoee High School. So that meeting is something someone may want to attend. I'm sure some of us will be attending it Thursday the 19th from 6 to 7 o'clock. Melanie, does this need to be noticed in ours for us if we're
The
going to attend?
county meeting?
For us to attend this meeting?
No, the county would notice it.
Okay, thank you. Another item is that there will be a shred event. Please mark your calendar for September 18th between 9 and 11:30 in the morning at the Ocoee Police Department. A shred event is where you can bring your items to be shredded, documents. They're shredded on site. It's a coordination between the Ocoee Police Department and two clubs that are in Ocoee, the Ocoee Lions Club and the Ocoee Women's Club, which we have done this before. I'm a member of both of those clubs, and it's been a great service. I believe last year we served over 200 vehicles that drove through as a drive-through, drop your items off. The first banker's box is complimentary. So again, mark that on your calendar to attend, because I know we probably all have things in our garages or wherever. I feel a need to bring this up at this point. I'm going to say that, Mr. Adkins, you brought up something called respect, a word. You said respect, if I'm correct. The last meeting I was not at. I was ill. I have, in 12 years, I have been out that I can remember 4 times from these commission meetings. So last 2 weeks ago, I was absent due to my doctor's advice. And I requested one item to be tabled. That item was the commissioner's salary, which I did not believe that we should have an increase in salary. I've said it every time it's come up. The commission, it was brought up, bring us up to $19,000, I believe was the figure, which to me, I don't believe is appropriate. We have a compensation package. I think we are compensated well enough, and the reason we're here is to provide service to the residents of Ocoee. I sat in these commissions, these chamber seats, for 10 years prior to being up here, okay? 12 years, so add those up. 4 times missing this that I can recall. I'm sure we can come up with a number, but I remember being sick. That would be twice. Probably twice was due to family obligation, which I think we can all understand. The problem I have is, in that meeting, as I'm listening to it, one commissioner brought up the term, this code of civility, that was not extended to a resident, okay? I believe the code of civility, it kind of is synonymous, the word is, say it for me, I'm having a moment, is with courtesy, politeness, respect, okay? I don't believe I was extended that respect. And I'm going to thank a few residents that got up and said that, because not being here and something that was not time sensitive, it would not take effect for 1.5 years from the time it was brought up, and if it was approved. It was not approved. I have made it very clear I would vote no. But I'm really angry that 2 commissioners wanted to give me that opportunity to wait, to hold it to vote tonight. and it was not agreed to. So it was a 2-2, which means it doesn't fly. So it voted, it got brought before the commission to vote on. I feel as though I was not given that respect, that politeness, let me use the words, courteous behavior, to wait 2 weeks for that to be brought back so I could vote on it. Now, it did not pass. It was a 2-2, which means it's gone, which I'm happy about. But I also feel that I should have been given that respect to vote. And I'm angry. I was angry that night as I watched it because I listened to the first term out of one commissioner's mouth was a code of civility. And then you turn around and don't give me that same respect. This is not the way to conduct business. And I'm angry about it. And I can't believe that when I sat out there for 10 years, I never remember anything like that happening. Sitting up here for 12 years, I never remember that happening. If we're going to give you respect, we need to give ourselves respect. So I'm angry. You know, tonight I also was going to bring up, let's cancel the next meeting, but I understand that we're going to be bringing things back regarding the traffic light. So that's not an issue that I think I would want to discuss at this point, because the traffic light is very important. Because I've heard it multiple times from both the city manager and from Steve that you'll be bringing something back at the next commission meeting. Am I correct in that? Because I know we're asking staff to be here. There's 2 public hearings regarding our budgets on 9/15 and 9/22 at 6 o'clock. And we also have one more meeting on the 7th, I'm sorry, I got to flip my calendar. On the 21st and the 7th, but if something's coming back, I don't want to stop that from coming back. That's my concern at this point, and we never want some interruption regarding the next step in a traffic light. So
Yeah, there's nothing official coming back to next meeting, Commissioner. We need to put the money in the budget. The money, depending on what finance thinks, I don't know that you can enter into the reimbursement legally without having the money allocated. And at this point, you can allocate the money on the 1st of October. That doesn't mean we can't tell the county that we're going to proceed, but we're just going to try to renegotiate with them. They have several things they need to do. I think if we tell them that we're in, they'll proceed. We can just go ahead and see if maybe we can get them to live up to their responsibilities. But I don't think you can legally deal with that agreement they sent you. You have no money allocated towards that. You won't until October 1st.
Well, I don't know how the commission feels about it, but all I can say is after that discussion, the last thing I want to see is something not come here. So, again, I'm kind of,
He said it wasn't.
I'm sorry?
He said it wasn't going to interfere with that.
It's not going to interfere? Because I don't want to, that's the last thing I want to do is to cancel a meeting to have it interfere with the discussion that happened tonight.
What meeting?
What's our next meeting?
Meeting is the 7th of September, it's the day after Labor Day. And again, but that was my plan tonight, to discuss that, because we have a CRA meeting, which is going to be changed. I think there's something going through already about that. But our commission meeting, but again, we've done this routinely, should I say, because of 2 budget meetings and a commission meeting. But then I have to leave it up to the other members of the commission, because I know that that discussion came up tonight, and that was mentioned to our residents, that there's going to be something coming before us on the 7th. So I don't know how I can ask for that at this point, to be fair to our residents.
So what did we bring in the 7th, Rob?
I don't know what we're bringing back on the 7th.
I think it may have been misunderstood. City manager was talking about bringing it back at the next meeting when we do not the agreement, but the budget public hearing, in order to put the money in place so that we could enter into the agreement. So that wouldn't be able to happen until the 2nd meeting of September, which I think is after.
First budget hearing in September, which,
First budget meeting is September 15th.
September 15th.
15th, the public hearing, please, 6 o'clock. Again, I don't know how the other commissioners feel, but all I can say, I'm trying to draw on what was said tonight, it was said the next meeting. So I don't want, again, we don't want anything to interfere with that traffic light, the movement of that very vital, important item in this, getting a traffic light.
Commissioner, you're correct. In saying the meeting, we're referring to the budget, the next budget meeting.
You're referring to, it has to come back on the 15th to the budget.
Yes, so that the money can be allocated, and then we can enter into the agreement at the next commission. regular commission meeting.
Okay, so we can rest assured,
Whether we have a meeting on the first Tuesday in September or not is not going to affect the timing of approving the funds for that traffic light.
because they can't be approved, well, they can't be
It's not
approved.
effective till October 1st anyway. If it's in the budget, if it's in the budget and be talked about as part of the budget hearings and then adopted in the budget to be effective October 1st.
Okay, so when we do the two budget meetings, that's when the second one is when we approve the budget, and that's when if those funds are in the budget, that is when that would be approved in order to move forward with any agreement.
That's right. That's officially the first day we could spend those monies. But I think what Steve is saying, in the meantime, we will continue to work with the county on the agreement to get as much teed up as possible so that if those funds are put in the budget and allocated, the process will move as soon as it possibly could after that.
Okay, can I just ask other commissioners' opinions, I guess, because the last thing I want is any,
Well, you said that. Go ahead and make
yeah,
the motion.
so I
Which
guess
one you want?
I'd make if this is not going to cause any issue with this traffic light, which you're told, I guess I'll get a minute more. I would make the motion that we would forego the September 7th meeting at this point, and the next meeting would be the 21st with the budget meetings of the 15th and the 22nd as public hearings.
All right, so you made a motion, cancel the September the 7th meeting. Then we have one on the 15th for the budget. All right, do I hear a second? No second.
Okay,
All right, meeting on September the 7th.
that's fine. I just, again, I don't want anything to stop this traffic light, so thank you.
All right. You done?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I think I said.
All right. City Hall will be closed on Monday, September the 6th, in observance of Labor Day. Florida Department of Health of Orange County is sponsoring a COVID-19 vaccination event on Tuesday, September the 14th, from 2 o'clock to 5:30 at the Jim Beach Recreation Center. Both Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson vaccines will be available. Anyone vaccinated will receive a $10 grocery coupon. The tentative budget public hearing is Wednesday, September the 15th at 6 p.m., and the final budget public hearing is Wednesday, September the 22nd at 6 p.m. Both meetings will be broadcast live on Spectrum Channel 493 with a live stream on the city's website at ocoee.org, and all interested parties are invited to be heard during the public comments and public hearings portion of that meeting. All right, start my clock at 10. That was public announcements. Give me 10 minutes. I won't take that long, though. All right. I want to make it clear to everybody, nobody sitting up here, I don't believe, would not want to do that red light. I mean, if you ride down that road, you know full well what it is. I mean, you know, it's dangerous because people don't seem to slow down anymore for anything. But I have worked for 2 or 3 years myself trying to get that red light, not only just one commissioner, but all of us, I think, have called. Christine Moore and I have dealt with each other for a long time. I've been calling Christine, she's probably tired of it, and asking about this light because of the county. And I think she was one of the ones that thought it was a done deal with the money part and all that, and then the county changed it, which we all know how that works because we did it out here at Fuller's Crossroad trying to get this thing done with them. So, I went and asked the clerk. I didn't say not to do that project. I said we need to look at what we're going to do. And I'm sorry that they misunderstood that, but I would never not want to do a red light stop for people, for these kids and stuff, especially with school buses and kids in favor. But besides that, my son almost got killed in Pine Hills Road because somebody didn't stop at a light, where the light should have been. So I know what it is. It took an hour and a half to cut him out of the car. So I know exactly what the problem is. But it's something, there's nothing wrong with asking them for some of our money back. It's your money. If you don't want it, fine. But I think we go ahead and put the money into 250, And I talked to Rob before the meeting. We already got that 250,000. We got it there to do. We're gonna do it. But they've got to come up and get their part done too, and then we can fight with them about the money they owe back to us at the city. They owe us money, you, the taxpayers. So that's why I said that. I don't understand why they would mistake that and think that, but that's not true. I know somebody's telling them that, but that's not true, and I think that could be also. But I've been working on that project out there for a long time, and Ingram Road is another one, is the lights. I talked to the Duke people this week at the convention, and they've got the stuff designed and doing for Ingram Road. We're also doing the south side on McGuire Road. That's getting designed. The man that does the lights with Duke said they're working with that project right now for Ingram Road. So that'll be coming down the road, Steve. I talked to that gentleman. The other thing is, Commissioner Bretson was talking about a while ago about Facebook and all that stuff. I will tell you something. I get, my wife won't let me go on Facebook. My kids won't let me go on Facebook, but no matter what, if one of my kids go on there, they get claimed that they're taking up for their father, which most people do that, you know. But I want to make a couple comments about it, because I was trying to talk to this gal the other night, the lady with the virtual thing, and I don't even know what it's called, Vox or whatever it is. And I was talking to three people at the same time, and one of the things I was trying to explain to her, it was like firefighter and police, and about burning houses. I said something about a number of 4, and that got blew all out in Facebook. It went all over Facebook about, a mayor said this, he don't believe in the firefighters. Well, that's not true. My comment was, one of the things that worries me more for the firefighters is the COVID. They're out hauling people around and picking up people. That's where it worries me more than anything for firefighters, is the COVID. Because that is something that is really, like you said, Commissioner, that is something that is dangerous. And these guys, young men and women, are out there every day at wrecks, all kind of things that happen that are, they're in chance of getting COVID. And I heard again a while ago on the news before I came down here, 9 custom agents have died on the border from COVID. 9 in the last few months. But I want to read something to you that somebody put part of it on the Facebook, and I will say that some of the people put things on there, and there are times it's amazing to me. In all my 35 years on the commission, I have always been a supporter of our fire department. If you go back and look at all the records, I've always been a supporter. I was instrumental in helping get the department become an ALS. That was one first thing the chief come to me, wanted to know if I'd back it, and I said yes, I wanted to see that. I was against giving it to the county when that issue rose a long time ago. It would have saved the city a considerable amount of money back in the times when we needed it, but I felt it was important to have our own fire department. And if you look at the record, I have always, and I mean always, voted to ensure our department is well equipped. I made sure I went on a trip one time to see what they did with building the truck in order to do their job effectively. I know the job is a lot more than fighting fires. They request to go to accidents, chemical spills, sometimes water rescues. They are transporting COVID patients, folks, and that is a dangerous thing. But I will tell you that all this started back in the election time when Commissioner Wilson got attacked on Facebook. I got attacked on Facebook, and I wouldn't be running. I mean, people just put stuff on Facebook and say anything they want to say, and I don't know what it is. Some people believe that stuff. But I don't want to get into an argument on this stuff, but folks are just spreading rumors that ain't true. I heard a rumor, I had a citizen, 2 citizens tell me the other day that somebody running for office told them another commissioner was crooked. Now that's a fact, it can be proven. They made that statement to these citizens because they're running against them. And that's something that never should be done. But don't get me wrong, I think the fire department, we're in the middle of negotiations, and every time when it comes to the point where we all agree, then we vote on it. And that's why they picked to be a union. So that's how it works. And I don't, in all my years, my son-in-law was a firefighter. Do you think I'm going to say something stupid about I don't believe in firefighters? My son-in-law was a firefighter. One of my best friends that came here to the city that's come up out of Parks and Recreation, James Kelly, whether you want to do it or not, that man was a good kid, good young man that died early as a firefighter. That was one of the better guys we had around here. So Ken Greenhill, There's another one for you. Super people. No, I would never do anything. I'm not gonna sit up here and bawl about this because I'm telling you, this is where my heart's been with the fire department for 35 years. Been there. And I'm all for it, as long as we do it the way we're supposed to do it. But I didn't pick the unions, they did. So this is what we do. We gotta go through negotiations, and that's how it works. So, like I said, and I will say something, city manager at the budget process that did get mentioned the other night, we're bringing our low-paid people that make less than $12 an hour up to the standards in the next 2 years where they'll be at the $15 an hour. The commissioners did that the other night. And Frank did, and I can't say that because it pertains to, you talked about other people on a basic pay for other departments getting the same thing. So we are wanting to make sure our employees in our city, we are proud of our employees. I have always been proud of our fire department. They're one of the top-rated fire departments, just like our police. Both of them are #1 rated? So they do wonderful jobs. But people, just stay off Facebook. You know, what rant and raves is what it's called. So, you know, if you want to put that stuff, they don't let me read it because I guess I'd have another heart attack. But, so I don't get on it. So my wife and my children campaign as good as anybody. And all they do is when they see that stuff, it just makes them want to campaign more. So, and I will tell you, neighbors of Arden Park and Ingram Road, we want that light there. Take my word for it. We want the safety of our citizens. That's our daily job here, is to make sure with the police and the fire and our citizens that they get the protection they're supposed to have. So if there's any more comments, I will say I was going to read that, Rosemary, but you beat me to it.
Well, you can read.
This is about the technical is going to be moved out to Ocoee High School, right? And it's going to be, I think if you can go to it, it'd be good to go to because it's going to be interesting. They're going to change around some of the processes. So, see you on September the 7th. Good night.